Hi guys, in this session we would like to understand JavaFX event handling mechanism. Event handling in JavaFX. The base class for JavaFX events is event class, which is packaged in JavaFX.event. Event is nothing but generally happening of some occurrence. That is called an event. In order to handle events in JavaFX, there is one package is defined, that is JavaFX.event. The event class, which is inherited from java.util.event object, which means that JavaFX events share the same basic functionality as other Java events. Several classes of events are defined. One of the very important event class is action event class. When action event is occurred means there are different graphical interface components are there, like as button, a radio button, selecting an item from list, and selecting a menu item. That all comes under action event. When button is pressed, which event is occurred means action event is occurred. The respective action event which is handled by the JavaFX event handling mechanism. So in order to define the JavaFX event handling mechanism in JavaFX programming, there is one specific model is defined for event handling. That model is called as a delegation event model. In delegation event model, when any source object which is occurring of any event or which is responding for any event, that object, the source object or that user interface object which would like to register for respective handlers in order to listening of the event as well as handling of the event. When the event is occurred, the respective listener is called the respective listener which will handle the event. How the event is registered in event delegation model for handling events is by calling of set-on-action method. The set-on-action method which is called on the respective event object, which event object is occurring of specific event. The method syntax how it is referred is final void set-on-action. Next, as a argument, we will specify the handler, which event handler is handling the event and which event handler would like to be registered and handling of event. So in order to handling respective events by the respective event source objects, there is one interface is defined in JavaFX.event package. That class is a event and that interface is event handler interface, and the generic type of event handler interface is event type. In the respective event handler interface, there is one method is defined, there is one method is declared. That method is handle method. That method is handle method which receives the respective event object on which on which source object event is occurred. That respective source object is sent to the handle method in order to handle events. Any respective graphical interface object like as button, radio button or checkbox or menu item, whether it is going for handling of event, it implement the handle method from the respective event handler interface. In that handle method, we will define the code how the event is handled. The event handlers which are defined in JavaFX programming in three different techniques. One is anonymous inner classes, second one is lambda expressions, third one is method references. While implementing the event handler handle method through the respective event source object, either like a button or any user interface control object. An anonymous inner class is defined in order to define the respective event handling mechanism. The definition of anonymous inner classes is somehow difficult to implement. In order to simplify that mechanism, there are two different methods are available. By using lambda expressions also, we can able to simplify the event handling mechanism, or by using method references also, we can able to simplify the event handling mechanism. In the event handling, in the respective event handling calling of handle method, the event is occurred on which event source object, on which event source. In order to know that on the particular event object, by calling get source method, we will know the source of the object, which event source object creating an event. In this slide, we would like to understand what is meant by event. In the previous slide, we understood what is the event handling mechanism, how that is defined in JavaFX event package by means of defining handler, method as well as event class. So in this slide, we would like to understand basically what is an event, what is the event source, and what is a event target. Generally, an event which represents an occurrence of something of interest to the application. Something will happen when a button is touched, when a screen is touched, when mouse is clicked, when key is pressed, when menu item is clicked, when list item is selected. That is referred as a event. This is similar to the when any sensation is happening on the any body organ or body part of the human being or any living entity also. Basically, the event delegation model which is defined in JavaFX programming is similar to the how the sensation is happening in the human body. The same philosophy is captured in JavaFX event handling mechanism. The difference between how the sensation is happened in the human body and how the JavaFX even uh, how the JavaFX event delegation model event handling, the comparison we would like to define in the coming slides. Now we have to understand what is event source, what is event target, and what is event type. Event type is the type of event that is occurred. Next, event source. What is event source is on which object uh, on which object the event is occurred and which object is the origin of occurrence of event. That is called as event source object. Next, event target. Node on which the action occurred and the end node in the event dispatch chain which handles the event. That means which object is appropriately handling the event, that is called as a event target. In this slide, we would like to understand JavaFX event handling mechanism. What are the different phases are referred in the event delivery process. The respective steps in Java event delivery process is defined in 4 different steps. One is target selection, second one is route construction, third one is event capturing, fourth one is event bubbling. We will go for first phase, that is target selection phase. The target selection phase is to identify by occurring of which thing the event is happened. When an action occurs, the system determines which node is the target based on the respective internal rules which are defined on the event handling mechanism. Suppose if we are taking key events, the target is the node that has focus. When it is a mouse event, the target is the node at the location of the cursor. Suppose if you take a touching gestures, the target is the at the center of the point, all touches at the beginning of the gesture. Suppose if it is a swipe event that is generated by the swipe on the touch screen. For touch events, the default target for each touch point is node at the location where it is first pressed. That means for key events it is a focus, for mouse events it is the location of cursor, for the touch gesture events that is a at the beginning of the gesture and the center of the all touches at the beginning of the gesture. For swipe event, center of the entire path of all fingers. For touch event, the first location where it is pressed. This is the way the target selection is identified. And next, the route construction phase. This is critical phase in the entire event delivery process. It constructs the path from the target event object to the root node of the event dispatch chain. Suppose if you go for creating a circle on the JavaFX screen, the target selection node, the target event object is the circle. Next, from circle to the stage, a specific route path is created. What are the nodes and what are the graphical user elements? What are the different objects in JavaFX lifecycle? In JavaFX lifecycle, in JavaFX entire process, application process involved, that objects are identified. For this example, how the path is created is the target selection event object is circle. From the circle object, next object pane is selected. From the pane, next object which is selected is group. From the group, scene is selected. From the scene, which node is selected is stage is selected. So the root node of the entire event dispatch chain is stage object. What is the target event object is circle. Next, after route construction, from identification of the target event object to the root node, next we will capture the entire path. In the event capturing phase, the event is dispatched by the root node of your application and passed down to the dispatch chain to the target node. From the root node to the target node, the complete path which is created, that path is identified. This process is called as the event travels from stage to the respective circle node during the event capturing phase as per last example. The next phase is the event bubbling phase. In the event bubbling phase, all registered handlers have processed the event. The event returns along the dispatch chain from the target node to the root node. If any node in the chain has a handler registered for the type of the event is encountered, that handler is called. That means from the root target node to the root node, whatever the event capturing is happened in that path, if any handlers are identified for the respective event source, event target object, if the event target object is registered with any handler, the respective event is consumed, the respective event handler which is consumed and will go for handling of that particular event. If no handler consumes the event, the root node eventually receives the event and respective processing is completed. So from the in the respective path, from the stage to the circle, or triangle from the stage to the circle or from stage to the triangle, which node is registered with in any node, if any node is registered with respective event handlers, respect to event handlers, that appropriate event handling method is called, on behalf of that particular object. That particular object, then it would like to go for handling of event that is happened. The respective event target node is registered with respect to event handler. If it is not registered, no event is happened for the respect to event target object. Next, this explanation, the JavaFX event delivery process, we would like to compare with the human sensation. How the different phases which are taken in the JavaFX application, the JavaFX event handling, we will compare with the human sensation. The first phase in the event delivery process of the JavaFX is target selection. Suppose we take an user interface element like as button is as the target event source object which is happening of action event. We will compare the same thing with the sensation of the location identification of the any human body part, either it is finger or hand. Skin identifies which body part is touched. That means here button identifies the button is the event target object. That event target object is would like to go for handling of event, and now here is the body part is touched. Here button is touched and here body part is touched. And next, in the next phase, what is created is root construction is created. In the root construction phase, from the stage to scene, scene to parent, and parent to the target node, root construction is created. And in human sensation, neural path is created from skin to sensory nerve, nerve to the spinal cord to the brain. In the event capturing phase, event traveling from top to down, event filter can intercept or modify the event before reaching the target, and in the same way, brain will take the responsibility for responding for interpreting for the incoming sensation. Next phase is event bubbling. In the event bubbling, event handlers execute reactions respective to the parent nodes which are participating in the event delivery process. In the same way, in human sensation also, brain sends respective command back through the nerves to muscles for respective action. So, when finger is touched on the skin, or when any touch is happened through the hand on the any body organ, like as on the hand, like as on the leg, like on the like an any like an the muscle, how the sensation happened. In the same way, the same kind of sensation, the same kind of event handling which is referred in JavaFX event handling mechanism. Next, we would like to understand about the event handling. So, event handling is provided by the event handlers which are implementations of the event handler interface. If you want an application to be notified when an event is occurred, the respective source object would like to go for register for that event. When the source object is registered for the event through the set an action method only, when respective event object is handles the event. If it is not registered, event handling is not possible. That is practically we can understand in coming examples. What is event handler? An event handler is executed during the event bubbling phase. If an event handler for a child node does not consume the event, an event handler for a parent node can act as the event after a child node process it, and can provide common event processing for multiple child nodes. Handlers that are registered for the type of event that occurred or executed as the event returned through the node that registered for the handler. In brief, how can we understand is, if if any event source object, like button, when it is registered with the event from button to the respective stage object, when event path is selected, when the path is selected in the respective path, which objects are participated or which objects are registered for the respective event, that events are executed in that path, by means of implementing the handle method. The respective event source object, like as a button, not only can register with only one kind of event, like as action event, it would like to go for register for an hierarchy of events also, hierarchy of event types also. Next step is the consuming affine event. Finally, after completion of entire event delivery process, the last step is the consuming the event. What is consuming the event is, an event can be consumed by the event handler at any point in the event dispatch chain by calling the consume method. This method signals the processing of the event is complete and traversal of the event dispatch chain ends. That means practically how it is understandable is, when event is handled, event is handled by means of executing the handle method, and respective response which is received to the event target object on the respective event path, event delivery path, when the corresponding event target node on which event object or through which event object the event is occurred, when it is responded, the entire event handling path is completed, event dispatch chain is completed. So finally, once after execution of the handle method, the response is displayed on the respective stage, either by means of which event is defined on the event target, that event is occurred. So this is about the event handling mechanism. JavaFX event handling mechanism is defined. Thank you for watching my presentation.